Hi, I'm Brendon, the Technology Concierge. Today I'm joined by Paul Veltman, and he's from the Third Place. And we're going to be talking about what is a third place and how it's now an important concept for hotels. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you, Brendon. Good to be here.
Fantastic.
I'm here, but I'm not there.
No, you're not.
Your area looks a lot more fun than mine.
Thank you. I'm in quarantine. Paul, there's this concept of a third place that people are talking about now. What is a third place?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's one we based our business on and our brand. I guess to explain a third place, first of all, it's important to understand what the first and second one is, right?
Of course. Yeah.
The first place is the home. The second place is the office, and the third place is the balance in between, right? It's what you can't get from either of those. So a third place is generally seen as a place that you can go to and work from that resembles, hospitality type experience. So that's everything from hotels, restaurants, cafes, and then potentially also non-traditional places, like the beachfront and special gardens. But for the most part, in our context, it's the first ones I mentioned. And in terms of how we go about it, it's the enablement to be able to work from these places, which is the premise of which we built Third Place on.
So thank you for that, Paul. Why a third place has suddenly become important? I mean, yes, we've had the home. Yes, we've had the office. The third place is a new concept.
Yeah, it's such a big question. We could be here for hours, but I'll try to be brief. Why is Third Place so important? I think it's the same reason why you ask, why is hospitality so important, right? And I like to start with, because most of them, the most memorable moments are made in hospitality venues, right? Whether it's, from a company perspective, having your end of year event, announcement, pitches, and so on. A lot of these happen within hospitality venues, hotels especially, which is where this started. And then eventually it moved into, other venues like restaurants and cafes and so on. But why are they so important? Because they provide what you can't get from home, and they also support what you can't get from the office. That hospitality experience and feel is what now every single business that's attempting to go hybrid, but also still provide some sort of office to come to, is to create this, a freedom of movement within the office. There's no fixed desks, it's hot desking. But then more importantly, they're installing bars and experience areas and virtual reality rooms and so on. And all of this was born out of hospitality. So the third places are very much at home in hospitality. But the great thing is, it's as much as you can try, you can never replicate it to the levels that you find in, the likes of hotels, right? 5-star, 4-star hotels, have been refining their art for a very long time, and the service that you get within them, so it goes without saying that when you go to any of these hotels, like the ones that we have on our books, like IHG, Hyatt, Crown Plaza, Core, and so on, you're expecting best quality of service, but also super fast Wi-Fi, and everything's just managed to a very high level. So, I can elaborate more on that, but hopefully that gives you a bit more information.
No, that's fine, Paul. Appreciate that. And you mentioned obviously hybrid working, which is now, it's a buzzword. It's a big thing. That's something that's come out of the pandemic. And we're seeing, I see it all the time. You get emails from people that it's, I work these days a week, or somebody said to me today, I go in the office on Wednesday, Thursdays, but the rest of the time I work from home. So is the need for a third place being promoted or enhanced by the fact that people are working from home, and sometimes they need a place to meet somebody? They need a place where they can just be in a different environment and focus?
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. I think that, again, I love the big questions. Hybrid has a different meaning to different organizations and people. But essentially, hybrid should mean the flexibility to choose to work from where you're most happy and be supported by the technology in order to do so. But really, the bigger picture of that is really around supporting, like I mentioned, the happiness, the mental health and well-being of individuals, to reconnect, collaborate with clients and colleagues, but also community. The difference is with third place is it's also about convenience, right? So the one thing that, the office or home or even co-working spaces, they are a destination and you have to go to them. Right. Whereas with third places, the whole point of it is that they are available in arm's reach of wherever you are. So, if you think about how many coffee shops, restaurants, hotels you go past, just by traveling 500 meters in any direction, and we have thousands of them on our books across Australia, that gives you an idea of the level of convenience. And from there, it's really about what you're looking for, right? Yeah. So, the obvious ones being Wi-Fi and plug points, but then you can filter on the site through to types of food, from vegan to being dog friendly, if you want your best mate to come along with you for the day, to off-street parking. But more importantly, that you've booked that space. So you welcome, it's laptop friendly, it's accessible to book in real time. And that's the difference. So, hybrid is the idea that sometimes I want to work from home, Monday to Wednesday, but then, I know Thursday I've got a few client meetings, but I'd love to get out. The weather's going to be good. So I'm going to go work out in one of the IHG hotels or Marriott hotels for the day. Or I might just go down to a new coffee shop that's just opened that I found via, the site. And, you can book based on the number of people. So you can, work it on the basis you're going to be meeting clients and colleagues. And then you can also make sure you book somewhere that's a bit more private or quiet, because you might have to have some Zoom calls or Teams calls while you're on there. So it's very flexible, but that's the idea of hybrid, right? Having the most flexible, and available options based on the type of day and the location that you're at.
Perfect. So Paul, third place, your organization, you've created a platform that the way I probably summarize it is you connect people looking for third places with venues that make ideal third places, as we said, like hotels. Within a hotel, obviously I'm in the hotel industry, what sort of spaces within a hotel make a good third place?
Well, that's a good question, because within hotels, there's just so many, yep. Right? And some, not obvious. The obvious ones are, the number of boardrooms and general business facilities that most hotels have, right? But outside of that, you've got the hotel lobby, restaurants within those hotels, and some have multiple restaurants and areas. And then there's also, the ability to work by the pool, right? And from the hotel room if you want. Yes. So I think hotels provide the perfect platform to be able to list multiple dedicated spaces. Plays into the, working holiday idea, where you can, within a hotel, work from anywhere, whilst also, enjoying other things, as part of the holiday. So I think, from a hotel perspective, it's set up for success for, to be listed and to have, as we've got, we may have one hotel with up to 20 different spaces listed for different reasons. And those are manageable based on times, days of the week, and, all the features that come with it.
Yep. So as you said, a hotel just lists its spaces on the platform, and there could be multiple spaces. And then if I'm looking for somewhere, I go onto the site. As you said, I can filter, I can look my location, whether I'm looking for something that's dog friendly, and literally it's almost like a dating site, I suppose, for people looking for somewhere to work from and venues that can provide it.
Well, I don't know if it's as fun as a date, but yeah, sure. It's definitely meant to be as simple as going on to any of the normal apps and sites that would use in your daily life, right? And you're meant to be able to do it in a matter of minutes and find a place. So you can find it. Obviously, the first one is by distance or location to where you want to be or are planning to go. And then the rest of the filters are really around the type. So there's two types or categories, or three rather, that we use. The one is book a table. which is, a table within any of these venues that we've mentioned, but they're within the main areas that, you're sharing with the rest of the people in the venue.
Yes.
And then you've got book a meeting, which is you're guaranteed more of a private space, which is, more of your boardroom style within. And interestingly, many restaurants, have those private dining areas as well as cafes, and hotels, it goes without saying, have numerous different options within their hospitality and banqueting and business centers. So those are where you can start to package up with food, half day, full day offerings. The difference is we take away the complexity of how that's done at the moment. So we work with hotels, we work with the events team, we work with the business and banqueting teams to come up with set packages which basically enable our users to go on and book straight away. So there's no process, there's no checking on dietary requirements. All of that's done via the site and linked directly through to the hotel, and they get a confirmation. So that's becoming very popular now across Australia. So I think, yes, it goes without saying that now that we're back and everyone's also traveling a lot more, we're going to be seeing a lot more of that.
Fantastic. So Paul, if a hotelier wanted more, what's the website they would go to?
So they're going to go to www.third-place.org. And everything's there. You're able to very quickly see all the venues across all the different categories that we've mentioned by location, whether you're in New South Wales or down in Victoria or further afar in Western Australia. We've got full coverage. As well as, for the international groups, we're also in the UK with over 400 venues. So, it's good to be able to see some of the behavior and changes going on across the border.
Fantastic. And as I understand it, there's no cost for a hotel to be on the platform. They can sign up simply for no charge, list their spaces, and it's only if there is a booking there would be, in a sense, a commission payable.
That's right. And to be honest, the way it works at the moment, because one of our big pillars we haven't spoken about is around revitalizing hospitality. So at the moment, there's, for walk-ins or book a table, as we call them, there's no charge at all. When it comes to book a meeting, which are more around your packages, where you'd expect food and beverage included, half day, full day with, upwards of 6 to 8, 10 people. Those have a slight charge to them and just Stripe fees and things like that. But it's very, very low. And there's more details about that on the website. But there's nothing up front. There's nothing to list. It's very easy to update and select your images. But also, if you have multiple venues and spaces that you're looking to list, we have a team of people that would do it all for you. Fantastic. So we take away the, not the pain of doing it, because it's very easy. But it is different when you've got, 20 spaces to list, or, some of our hospitality partners have, up to 500 venues. So if you're looking at that across the state and getting those, we're able to get those up within, a couple of weeks, which is pretty good.
Fantastic. One final question, Paul. I know that you've had interest from some corporate members. And what I mean by that is companies that like the idea and basically would like to use third places for team meetings and things like that. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, as we know, we've, only just this year come out of an up and down lockdown. So we've been very cautious and sensitive to those corporates in terms of, what they can tell and expect of, their own employees. Because at the end of the day, health and safety comes first. But we've also enjoyed running a corporate pilot program, with a number of corporates, and some of which include the likes of 1,000 Mile Travel, which again, one of the big corporate travel companies, across Australia and UK, and a number of their clients. And we recently launched with them, and their entire workforce is now hybrid and working from anywhere, and constantly booking via Third Place. But also, more importantly, because they book so much corporate travel, they're passing that same service on to all of their corporates and the individuals that work. And naturally, hotels are part of that. And then the other one is a big group, membership group called Melbourne Executive Assistants, which is over 1,500, represents 1,500 corporates, the top 100 ASX listed in Melbourne. And they recently launched to all of their corporates and to all of their people and all of their members. And they, again, have been flooding through third place, booking stuff left, right, and center. And now we're in conversation with probably about 5 to 10 others on the corporate pilot program, which are starting to use it more and more. So yes, the usage is spiking. It's starting to drive really hard, which is great to see. But we're also in the phase where we really want to make sure the user experience is at the best possible level it can be before we fully open it up. Now, you or anyone else on that seeing this can go on now and use it. But when we're looking at a corporate level, we want to make sure that we connect them with the right experience in the hospitality venues. So by mid-year, maybe sooner, we'll be ready to completely unleash, if you like, and turbocharge, where we'll be pushing all the big corporates through the system.
That's fantastic, Paul. I think it's a great idea, and I think that really it's pretty much a no-brainer for any hotel to list their venue, on third place. It just makes perfect sense to me. Yeah. So once again, what is the website they'd go to? www.third-place.org. And absolutely, for hotels, we'd love to work very closely with you to optimize the opportunity and drive new stream of revenue right into the hotels. We've got a lot of friends and family and people that work in that space. Also we're very close with a lot of owners and GMs in that space. And it's an area that needs a lot of support, right? It's one of the hardest hit over the last 2 years globally. But we are an Australian first business and New Zealand, and we'll help to drive that. So we're keen to hear from anyone that's looking to get involved. Fantastic, Paul. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time and hearing about Third Place.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Brendon.